I believe we're going live now. Is everybody awake yet this morning? I appreciate you guys joining us. I'm going to give it just one more second or two here to wait to get started. I can see participants jumping on now. So just a couple more seconds if you bear with us. I hope you're all doing well this morning. Okay, well, because it is on the half hour here, we're going to try to keep this thing concise for you. But welcome. We appreciate you taking some time out of this morning. So good morning. I know every place in the Cotton Belt where you all are probably in the field one way or another. So I do thank you for taking a minute to jump on and let us share some of our enrollment details. So I'm Chaz Holt. Some of you have met, I'm sure. So I'm the director of the field programs at the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol. Today we have you coming online with us. We're looking forward to sharing your 26 enrollment guide with you, some other details here. So we'll be discussing how the Trust Protocol and our new field partner program can help expand your opportunities and enhance your farm market access for the 26 crop year. We have somewhat of a packed agenda. We're going to try to cram a lot into a 30-minute period here. Then following that, we'll have some question and answer sessions if you'd like. You always are welcome to reach out to us anytime. So just because we're on the webinar doesn't mean you lose your opportunity for the question. Reach us all anytime, but submit those questions in the Q&A there at the bottom. And we'll do our best to answer some here at the end if you have some that come through. We'll be doing a recording, of course, and we'll be able to share this in the future. This will be available after this session. So to kick us off, I want to introduce Ms. Marjorie Walker. She's our co-director and communications and marketing lead for the Trust Protocol. She'll set the stage for why the Trust Protocol is important to the cotton industry. And along with Ms. Marjorie, we'll have Tillman White, who will give us a refresher on how to enroll again this year. So with that, I'm going to start Ms. Marjorie. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaz, and good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you took the time out of your day to join us this morning. I'm sure you're aware that the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol is the voluntary national sustainability program and the traceability program for U.S. cotton. Through this program, we bring verifiable goals and measurements to responsible production, driving continuous improvement across 6 key sustainability metrics, which are water use, yield and land use, soil carbon, soil conservation, emissions, and energy use. This is all achieved through data collection and independent third-party verification, which provides credibility to your responsible farming practices. U.S. cotton growers like yourselves are leaders in sustainability innovation, and we know that. However, the market continues to evolve with increasing demands for transparency and verifiable data. The Trust Protocol, therefore, is dedicated to supporting your success and helping to build, retain, and ensure a strong market for responsibly grown U.S. cotton. This commitment is directly reflected in how the Trust Protocol continues to gain momentum and increase membership at both the field level and through the supply chain. The program currently has more than 2,800 supplier members and more than 56 global companies and their corresponding brands, including icons like Ralph Lauren, Carhartt, Levi Strauss, Macy's, and J. Crew. There are many, many leaders in the brand industry that are impressed with the value of the Trust Protocol. Henning Strauss is one of them. If you're not familiar with their workwear, please take a look at them. As he says, he's committed to building products that last, and he expects the same integrity from the raw materials behind them. And that's why he's aligning with the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol, because it is providing value with transparent traceability, verified data, and a commitment to continuous improvement. It's also evidenced by the exponential growth in adoption and scale of our traceability solution last year. Year-over-year uptake was over 400%, which is an indicator of increasing confidence and adoption of the system by program members. It's one thing to talk about this commitment, but it's another to see it in action. And that's exactly what's happening. You can now find products made with U.S. cotton you've grown marketed with the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol logo in stores. It's tangible proof that your efforts are being recognized. Your field level commitment is enabling on product messaging. We've worked with J. Crew to release products made with U.S. Cotton, and next, Macy's, Gildan, Strauss, and Suburbia have been able to create products that include hang tags noting the garment is made with Protocol Cotton or U.S. Cotton. This directly connects your cotton to the end consumer, building awareness and demand for responsibly grown U.S. cotton. Additionally, we work with members like Ralph Lauren and Adidas to incorporate program language into their ESG reporting, which is sustainability reporting that they're required to do. These brands are publicly committing to utilizing the Trust Protocol as part of their overall environmental goals and efforts. We've also worked with Lululemon to release products made with U.S. cotton. As you know, U.S. cotton is not a mainstay in their product line. Well, now it is because of the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol. Macy's and Kiabi also participated in case studies with the Trust Protocol, and those are available on our website. In addition to increasing demand for your cotton, the Trust Protocol provides other membership benefits for you, the growers. We know that for growers, every decision is a business decision. The Trust Protocol offers actionable insights to understand your farm's footprint. Through your dashboard, you can see how your footprint looks. It helps you optimize your operations, improve overall efficiency, and demonstrate your commitment to your responsible practices through all measurement and verification. Through the program, enrolled growers can access resources and support to continuously evaluate and improve your operation and efficiencies. It also allows you to demonstrate your commitment to sustainable cotton production. You can connect your product with brands and retailers actively seeking responsibly sourced cotton, thereby expanding your market opportunities and meeting demand. The Trust Protocol is also the established initiative for the U.S. cotton industry and provides a proven program infrastructure for growers. Enrollment for the 2026 year is open now. It opened in January and continues through the end of April. Getting enrolled now sets you up for the upcoming crop year, and we have a team that's here to help you. Being a Trust Protocol grower is a central prerequisite for exciting new market opportunities, including the new Field Partner Program. Tillman White is here, the Trust Protocol Program Manager, to discuss that next. Tillman?
Hey, Marjorie, thank you for that. And good morning, everybody. Thank you again for taking the time to join the webinar. And as you just heard, for our producer members, really getting enrolled in the Cotton Trust Protocol is the first step. But the next thing we want to talk about is a new initiative that we have available to our producer members, which is the Field Partner Program. So just like the Cotton Trust Protocol, the Field Partner Program is a voluntary initiative designed to help you, the producer, showcase regenerative practices through documentation and verification, all within the existing infrastructure of the Trust Protocol platform. It's also a direct response that we see to growing demand in the marketplace from member retailers and brands who are looking for verified, traceable regenerative cotton at scale. So for the producer, what does that look like in practice? Growers, as they go through Trust Protocol enrollment, provide a little bit more detail on those regenerative practices, and field partners, which are organizations like marketing cooperatives or merchandisers, possibly GINs, can help confirm that information within the platform. In addition, this is going to be supported by remote third-party checks or satellite imagery. So as the producer, as you go through that process, if you have acres that are on your farm that qualify, your cotton can then be marketed as Trust Protocol Regenerative Cotton, which again is something we're seeing more and more interest in. And hopefully what that will translate to and open the door for is potential incentives or premiums in the marketplace. Beyond that, the Field Partner Program we see is a great way to stay ahead of where sustainability requirements are heading in the future. And again, just to reiterate, eligibility for the Field Partner Program really starts with the Cotton Trust Protocol enrollment. So next, I want to dive into a little more detail about the Field Partner Program and how it works. So again, first and foremost, participation really starts with going through the enrollment for the Trust Protocol for this 2026 crop year. And the eligibility begins at the whole farm level based on an FSA farm number. So just for example, so for everybody knows, if you have, let's say, one farm number that might be comprised of 2 or 3 tracts and 12 fields, all of the acres under those fields and really under that one farm number must meet the requirements for those regenerative practices. And as the producer, your main role really comes down to accurate reporting. So confirming which fields are going to be included in the field partner program, adding field boundaries, attaching those field names to those boundaries, all within the protocol platform to ensure they're aligning with your FSA records. And for this program, when we focus on regenerative, we're really looking at specific soil and resource practices across each farm. So these are practices that include cover crops, conservation of reduced tillage, having a crop rotation, having an integrated pest management system, having a nutrient management plan, and overall looking at practices that are going to protect soil, water, and wildlife habitat. And again, already being measured within the Trust Protocol platform. So for those that are interested in the Field Partner Program, I'd encourage you, if you're going through enrollment this year, talk to your merchant or your marketing cooperative if you're connected with them in the system to see if they are currently participating as a field partner and whether your farm qualifies. Or if you have other questions, as Chaz mentioned, please contact us for us to support you through that process. The next slide I want to go through is the grower dashboard. So a lot of you who are members are very familiar with the screenshot here. This is just showing you what every single producer who's currently a member, historically been members, what their dashboard looks like. And a few things I want to point out really relates to the enrollment, but also how that ties into the Field Partner Program. So on the left-hand side, you can see that for every producer, we have 6 steps of enrollment you want to go through. So we start with the privacy statement and we end with that statement of commitment. So as you go through enrollment, you're going to connect with your GIN, your marketer, and if a consultant's in the protocol, you're going to go through your farming profile, which is just some general information about your operation, looking at your planting intention for cotton this year, what are some other crops in your rotation, and also listing any entities or partnerships that you might have. The next step you're going to go through is your self-assessment questionnaire. That's a questionnaire that covers your entire operation. We're looking at questions from soil health all the way to nutrient management, biodiversity, all the way to worker well-being. And then we go into the field print analysis section. So this is when we take a little bit deeper dive into specific fields, and we want to look at the impact your production practices have on 6 sustainability metrics. And then once you finish step 5, you can go to the statement of commitment. But for the Field Partner Program, how that ties together is as you, the producer, going through enrollment this year, the protocol platform in the background is already generating a pre-assessment based on your answers and the input data you have. So therefore, as you're wrapping up the field print analysis, we can then notify you, the producer, if your farm is eligible for that Field Partner Program. So again, I just quickly wanted to highlight the dashboard, what to expect with enrollment this year going through that process, but also how that ties to the Field Partner Program. And quickly wrapping up before passing it over to Chaz, again, if you're the producer going through enrollment this year, you need any support through that process or have questions about the Field Partner Program, we encourage you to reach out to us, the field team. Obviously, Chaz, our director, myself, and then Marion Finley, who's on the call this morning, our enrollment specialist, to help you throughout that process. So Chaz, with that, I'll hand it back over to you.
Yeah, no, great. Thank you again. Obviously got a lot of information from Miss Marjorie and Tillman here sharing with you guys. So hopefully that's beneficial and can generate some more questions. We're obviously developing this right now. So hoping this creates the opportunity that we are hearing about in the marketplace. So we're here to support, just like the protocol is as a standalone with our field partner. We're here to help facilitate whatever the market is asking of. So we're here to help you guys as growers. So I want to take the time to say thank you again today, and I recognize many of you have seen and done this before. So as a protocol member, if you're a grower on here, we look at you as our mentors to other growers that we're looking to reach out to and support. So let us know, pass them along to us, or help them yourself, however you see fit. And then again, you all are the ambassadors for the world showcasing U.S. cotton production. So we thank you for taking your time to do this with us. But we do have a couple questions and some time to answer those. I think there might be one or two in the Q&A. Let's see here. And I think what I'll do is I'll sort of read the question out loud and maybe let Tillman and Marjorie address them if we want to go that route, depending on what the question is. But one of the questions is, what are the absolute minimum requirements and practices a grower needs to implement on the farm to be eligible for both the Trust Protocol and the Field Partner Program? Tillman, you want to help with that? I know I could stab at it, but I think it would be nice to bounce them around.
Yeah, I can start there. I mean, as it relates to the Cotton Trust Protocol, we don't have a set minimum requirements for specific practices. I would say we do have requirements as far as, following your regulatory requirements from the state level to also the federal level when it comes to applying any applications. But as far as specific practices for cover crops, we don't have a limitation there for our producers because we know practices like that really vary across each region, across each state for producers. And really, we want our producers as they go through enrollment to list what works best for their operation. But as it relates to the Field Partner Program, we do have a set of practices that we're looking at. And some of them I mentioned include cover crops, include a crop rotation, reduced till, no till, conservation tillage. We actually have a set of criteria that we could share later. We have it on our website, a list of many practices that qualify for the Field Partner Program. And just as an example, we have each one of those practices under a certain category of, or basically a principle. So, for example, under soil health, the criteria for our producers for the Field Partner Program is implementing at least two of these practices, and we have three in total under soil health. So, for example, we have cover cropping, conservation tillage, or crop rotation. Well, if you're not doing cover cropping, but you have conservation tillage or a crop rotation on your farm, then that would qualify under the soil health principle for Field Partner Program. So we have a list and range of practices under each of those principles for Field Partner Program because we know there's going to be some range across each region of the Cotton Belt.
Yeah, no, I think you covered it quite well there. So I hope that helps with some of you guys. There's a couple other questions that kind of lift the other one, and I wanted to start with a question about how can I find a field partner and what are their specific responsibilities and additional requirements they might have beyond the standard program. And again, this leading to another question that's out in the Q&A is how many brands have committed to purchasing Regenerative Protocol Cotton, which is our field partner program for now, and how many bales does that equate to? So this is all driven by field partners, right? So we're here to facilitate that. We know that we can document and account for and verify bales through our system, the protocol as it loads. But the field partner program is the driver for that market and for that demand. So we're sort of waiting to receive that information, if you will. But Marjorie, Tillman, if you guys want to elaborate on any of that.
I'm happy to, Chaz. So we have had a number of brands that have purchased Protocol Regenerative Cotton. So regarding the number of bales, we're not able to disclose that, but they different brands, several have actually bought Regen Protocol Cotton, and again, they go through our field partners. So the field partners report that back to us, and we do know there are several actively purchasing, and there are several more that have inquired about it. Tillman, I don't know if you have any more to add.
Well, no, I think you covered that portion. And as far as the field partners that are currently out there, we started this pilot in the fall of 2025, and we have, I think, 5 field partners right now. And again, I think I mentioned there some of the marketing cooperatives, some of them are merchandisers, and we're looking for new field partners in the future if they're interested. If you have specifically or want to know who they are, just reach out to us. All of them are members of the Trust Protocol and currently going through that pilot for the Field Partner Program. But again, we're looking for new field partners if you're interested and want to work with your customers through this process.
Yeah, so there's time for anybody to quick throw another question in there. But that being said, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We do have 10 minutes left on the clocks, but we hope this has been helpful, and we thank you for your time today. Just a final reminder, we want to drive this again. You guys that are on the call are mentors for other producers. Just remind you that the 26 enrollment is open. We like to keep it within the window from January to April, so our data analytics team can get to work and stockpiling the information to use for our reporting on the world market space. So we appreciate your time to do that and get it in to us here this month. If you have any more information or any questions regarding this information, again, we're always, you can reach us. Marin is our grow enrollment specialist, and Tillman and I are here as well to support anything we can to get you guys through the process. So we want to thank you again from the protocol. Miss Marjorie Tillman here, appreciate your time as well. So reach out to us anytime, but we'll let you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.